Welcome to the Express Soul Health and Wellness Podcast. In each episode, you'll learn from experts about the best practices and technologies to live a happier, healthier, and hopefully a longer life. Here is your host, Claudia Erdenola.
Welcome to Express Soul Health and Wellness Podcast. My name is Claudia Erdenola. In today's episode, I have the pleasure to talk to Dr. Raleigh Duncan. Dr. Duncan is the founder and CEO of Clearlight Saunas. And with Dr. Duncan today, we're going to learn about these amazing technologies of the infrared saunas and how they are available to thousands of people around the world, helping to improve many conditions such as Alzheimer's, stress, sleeping, relaxation, and many cardiovascular diseases. We're going to learn from him how these infrared technologies can help us to live a longer and better life. So if you like this subject, please stay tuned. Dr. Raleigh, how are you? Welcome to the podcast.
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
I'm going to read a little bit about yourself. So here is what I have as a bio. It says Dr. Raleigh Duncan is a chiropractic degree as well as a bachelor's in science from the Life West Chiropractic Regents College. He has a vast experience in designing systems to heal the body and the creation of health products from inception to execution, manufacturing, and quality control. With many years of experience as a doctor of chiropractic and decades of research into infrared therapy, Dr. Duncan is one of the early pioneers in the infrared sauna industry. He is the founder and CEO of Clearlight Saunas. Dr. Duncan is also certified GeoVital consultant. GeoVital is the Academy for Radiation Protection and Environmental Medicine in Austria. So, Dr. Duncan, we're going to be talking today about what is the healing through heat and light, what are the amazing benefits of these amazing technologies that you have been researching for many, many years. You have the floor. Please tell us a little bit about this.
Sure. This is my favorite topic. So many cultures heal with heat, and it's been happening for thousands of years. So infrared saunas is just that taken to the next degree, sort of a high-tech sauna to heal the body, relax the body, take the pain away, and all that. And I've been doing this for a long time, more than 25 years. So it's my passion. This is my practice, and this is, yeah.
What was your epiphany that make you going through this research for so many years and come up with the idea and further founding of the Clearlight Saunas?
So I was in manufacturing, selling high-tech laser cutting machines for manufacturing, metalworking, and I hit a point in my life in my 40s where I wanted to give back somehow, and that led me to come out to California and enroll in chiropractic school in my 40s with 2 teenage daughters. And I wanted to be a chiropractor in that way. I was going to give back, but I needed to make a little more money. So I became a massage therapist, and I was going to massage people and go to school in the day and work hard. So I bought a used hot tub, and I found one of these infrared saunas in a magazine to turn my home into a day spa while I go to chiropractic college. So what happened, Claudia, is I would put my massage clients first in the sauna, the infrared sauna that I had gotten from Southern California. There was only one company making them in the whole country.
That was what year?
Oh, this would be 95, I think, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I noticed is that usually when you go to massage someone, it takes them 20 minutes until you'll hear a, and then they're relaxed. But I noticed that after the people came out of the infrared sauna, not only they were ready, they were already relaxed, and their muscles, I could feel that their muscles had relaxed and all these changes. And then I started using the sauna. So long story short, I did graduate, and I started a company selling these saunas. And back then it was kind of before the internet had taken off. So I was going to home and garden shows and setting up the saunas. And then I became a more successful distributor of the saunas. I had all of Northern California. One thing led to another. And then at some point I wanted to design and build my own saunas and put the technology in that I was thinking about and make changes to heal the body. So I've been doing that incrementally for the last over 25 years. And that's how I got here. I could have never imagined what was going to happen. But here we are.
You mentioned something that is very beautiful and very true. You come to a point in your life, like me, when you realize that is a moment to give and give back. I am a civil engineer. I have been working in heavy construction all my life. That is my comfort zone, is where I work forever, where I learned how to do it well for many companies around the world. But my real passion is in wellness. And it was through a personal situation that I have in 2015, when I have to go and look for information. It was something in my heart telling me that what the doctor was telling me was not the only answer.
Wow.
If I can tell you that it was like inside of my heart, I was feeling like if they were pushing me out. My husband was so wise. He said to me, Claudia, I support you, whatever you want to do. I found an amazing protocol that was in clinical trials. And lucky for me, in Nashville, they were already approved by insurance. And when I went to find that, it was a perfect situation for my problem. In my first episode on the podcast, I tell the whole story, but short story, making the story short, is that I found that if it's not because I took the initiative to go and look and just dig into the internet for days, I was like calling Harvard University, calling the research programs. I mean, I went into extents of calling people to find out these informations. Later on, I find out that why not? If all of those protocols that are not conventional are available, but people don't know about them, how many people can we help by exposing this information, by telling them that there are other ways that they can implement into their lives, practices that they can be doing that help them not only prevent, also to cure situations that they may have already, So that's what basically prompted me to found start with the podcast, Express All Health and Wellness Podcast. And that is basically my mission. Bring experts in different subjects in medicine for the body, mind, and soul. So it may be, people that are specialized in meditation, respiration, just some therapies and for the body, for the mind, all combined in a holistic way that I want to interview here, that I want people to listen. And when I start looking at what our Western medicine system is doing for us, I can feel disappointment. And that is because when I see the amount of money that we spend here in the States, especially in the United States, on healthcare a year, I'm talking about, we are spending about $4 trillion a year. That is a number that is difficult to imagine. And yet and then it's projected to be almost $7 trillion by the year 2028 at the rate that we're going.
Yes.
And then when we go and see our population's health, we're ranking like 35th in the world.
Correct.
I cannot understand why, with all of this expenditure, we are sicker than ever. What are we doing wrong?
Yeah, well, and the answer to this, but I'll just give you my take, is that Western medicine there is looking, and Western medicine is great in some aspects. If I get in a car wreck
when
or
we need
something,
it, of
yeah,
course,
but
with a surgery
they're looking in the wrong direction. Rather than looking at preventing illness, they wait until the patient is so sick that they're having symptoms, and now you have to go and do an intervention rather than focusing on curing the disease rather than keeping the patient healthy. And that's it in a nutshell. And until we switch around, and eventually I think it will, because it's less expensive to focus on prevention and health and good eating, diet, meditate, all these things. It's less expensive.
Sickness and disease.
Yeah. And so money drives all these big corporations in many ways. So I think it will eventually change. But boy,
I hope so. But I also know that channels such as Express All Podcast and many others out there are spreading the word on many alternative things that people can do by themselves. It's our responsibility to take care of this body, mind, and soul. Here, we are the first responsibles for driving our own car,
We are.
And talking about a car, I figured that many people may have a car and they're blinking something. Oh, need oil. Oh, you go and take your car, preventative. Put the oil, change the filters. Oh, my car is fine. But when it's about themselves, their health, they may be feeling symptoms. They may, no, I don't have time. I'm too busy. I don't have time to go exercise. Diet.
But it's changing. It is changing.
I think it is.
During these last 3 years, during COVID, there wasn't any way that you could prevent yourself from getting sick unless you just locked yourself at home or you made your immune system strong. You did the things to be a healthier host, so that if you did get sick, you would be okay. So it's been a wake-up call for a lot of people.
Absolutely. And I think after all of the unfortunate situations that we live with COVID, something that I can say in a global way was an awakening. It was in a way of looking at ourselves, because we had to stop. We were not going to the office. We were not driving cars. We were staying home. Stop and look at what I can do to prevent this from happening to me. Or if it happens to me, I can navigate the virus with no consequence, just fine, because my body is in a good shape. I think That's it. Right now, we're living that age of the awakening and looking at the health and wellness with a much broader view and embracing these technologies and ways that may be very easy to implement in daily lives.
It's
to make
implanted health and
better.
It's implanted health and wellness in our culture, in our society, in a way that it's only going to grow because it just makes sense.
It does. So in your perspective, what would be the main difference between traditional medicine and, let's say, holistic medicine?
The way I look at that is that traditional medicine, or Western medicine, is always looking at curing, and the holistic medicine is looking at healing. So it's healing versus curing. So healing takes in every part of the body, takes in the body itself, the mind, the emotions, what you're eating, are you exercising? It's a holistic approach. And curing is a reductionistic, where it says, oh, you have this problem right there, so I'm just going to focus on that. I'm really not interested what's going on or what you do with your life or any of that. I'm just going to cure this. So that's the difference. Until we start looking holistically, we're not going to have a healthy, vibrant culture that we all hope for and strive for.
You remind me of something that happened to my husband a few years ago. In one of these amazing journeys in my life, I was also a farmer. And I took a break from my engineering to be learning how to farm and basically grow all my food. So we had a ranch outside of Nashville, Tennessee. And I had a ranch with 75 beautiful cattle, goats, 200 chickens roaming everywhere. Everything, my organic gardens, everything was very nice. That was before I got sick. But my husband had a problem with his rotator cuff. And then we went to the to the doctor the orthopedic doctor, and he looked at him, a specialist on the shoulder and back. And then he came and said, the only solution for you is surgery. And I have to tell you, because I know you like to exercise, I gonna do the surgery on your shoulder, but you may drop your bicep. My husband opened those eyes like this. Said, what? I said, yeah, it could happen. I need to tell you that. And then he said, okay, let me think about it. And then we went home and said, I don't gonna have the surgery. I want to try something different. If it doesn't work, then obviously that's the ultimate, but I don't want to try. So I went to the farmer's co-op and I find out some different medicines that are not for humans. My husband started taking those. It was very nice, a compound of amino acids that it was, formulated for large animals, and it was totally natural, organic. He took it and make exercises at home, and after a few months he healed himself. It was just extensive work at the farm that have him his shoulder. But in other words, if he was just going to have that surgery for the shoulder, it may cause another problem that it was not intended to happen.
Yep.
So that is unfortunately what happened with some of our traditional medicine protocols. So you mentioned something, Dr. Duncan, about the Native Americans, and actually natives all over the world. They knew and understood how was healing through the heat.
Yes.
They built these amazing constructions with skins of the animals, with clay, and they were getting in and hitting rocks and water. We call them temazcals in Mexico. Basically heat, sweat lodges for healing.
Sí.
And when they were going there, they were not going only to heal the body. It was actually ceremonial detoxification for the body, mind, and soul. It was also a way of clearing their minds and their spirits, getting in touch with the totem animals, and clearing the body.
Yeah,
so
and every culture has it.
Every culture has it. We know that has tremendous benefits and impact the state of the health of a person. And yet, if I go to the doctor, if I go with my husband, he's 74, he's going to be 75. Healthy, thank goodness. But when we go to the doctor, knowing the immense benefits that a sauna, the use of a frequent sauna, have in a cardiovascular health, why we're not having the doctors advising us on something so simple?
Some are.
Why?
Some are, and I'll tell you
I know,
how it's
there's
changing.
some very good. Yes.
So Dr. Michael Roizen, he's the chief wellness officer of the Cleveland Clinic, one of the most esteemed medical hospitals in the world, actually. He said that everyone should use an infrared sauna and should use it at least 3 to 4 times a week. So I've seen him say that from the podium based on research. So this is the shift. And actually tears came to my eyes when I was at that lecture and he said those words. And it was like
I'm feeling chills too.
Yeah.
Because our job is going to be done when we see the people asking their doctors for this kind of advice and the doctors also giving it to them, because this is complementary. This is not interfering with any other protocols they may be doing. It's something natural and simple that anybody can do.
That's true.
So let's talk about how the infrared light works, how the infrared saunas work for healing, how that interaction comes into the body.
Okay. That's one of my favorite topics. So the first thing you notice when you get into an infrared sauna, at least if you get into ours, we're going to have flat panel heaters all around you, right? In your sauna, that's what you have. And I also have the heaters down by the legs. Actually, they're under the floor. And the infrared wavelength comes from the heater. It's very safe, very soothing, is going to come into the soft tissue of your body, and the infrared wavelength is going to go through the air without giving up much of its energy. It won't give up the energy really until it hits the body. And when it hits the body, will come in an inch and a half. When that infrared wavelength comes in, and we give off infrared from our body, so it's very natural. The first thing that happens is we get a vasodilation. Just means that the blood vessels start to open up. And that's the first start of what the infrared does to the body. So when the blood vessels open up, and it happens all over the body, because I've designed my saunas to have the heaters all around you, then the body has all kinds of receptors, and it will notice that your heart rate will start going up because the pressure of the blood pressure has dropped a little. So the body sees that, and it's dropped a little because we've increased the size of all the blood vessels. And so it'll say, oh my gosh, we're losing pressure. Start pumping faster. So
it
now
feels like you are in a cardiovascular exercise.
Exactly. And I call that passive cardio. All right. It's not, you're not on a treadmill, you're not working up, but I'll get my heart rate while I'm sitting in the sauna. Yeah, I'll get it up like I'm working out on a machine.
Yes.
All right. And you've experienced that, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And it's the most amazing thing, because with the vasodilation, the body is releasing nitric oxide, and you're going into parasympathetic at the same time as all this is happening. And so that's just the start of what's going on. And it feels good. Your muscles relax, the pain goes away, and the air temperature inside the infrared sauna, as you've seen, is much easier to breathe than the regular box of hot rock sauna.
It's so nice. It's so nice. And I go there every night. Yeah. I love it. And something else is just like you enter in a zone. When I'm there, I don't want to talk. I mean, it's a moment of zen. And I can put nice music and relax. The whole experience is just so relaxing. You start feeling that your mind starts calming. It's just very nice. Very nice.
Your time.
Yes, it is. So that is how the infrared goes through the body. So the light, we don't see the wavelength, but it goes and penetrates in through our tissue, like through the organs, and it's how we receive the benefit. And we feel it as heat, basically.
Yes.
Okay, so what is the difference between the far infrared and the near infrared, and what are the technologies behind those two?
Okay.
How that help us?
Yeah, so infrared comes out, and like I said, we give off far infrared from our bodies. I'm not sure if I said far, but we give off far infrared from our bodies. So that's in a spectrum, in a wavelength. Right next to that, and when they say far, they're measuring the distance from one wave to the trough. All right, so the crest down to the trough. They're saying this is farther. Then we go to mid infrared. All right, and that's in between far, mid, and then near infrared. So the far infrared, mid infrared, they each have their own different things. And I could just bore people to death with the difference, because this is all I've been studying basically for the past 25 years. And then the near infrared, I'll tell you one thing that's different. Far and mid, when it hits the body, it will react with H2O. It will react with the water in the body. And we're comprised of a lot of water, and it will actually help to vibrate the water. That helps us to detox. Near, on the other hand, near goes deeper into the body because it is not stopped by any water molecules in the body. So near infrared works as a deep heater for heating the core, getting the heat into the body to create things like heat shock proteins and different things that will help us. So this is what happens. So there's just 3 wavelengths, and you can get all of the wavelengths in our saunas. We've designed them that way. And you have probably a sanctuary, I think.
I have the sanctuary too.
Okay, great sauna. That's what I get in every day. I was in mine this morning, and you have the red light heaters.
I have the LED red tower too.
Oh, great. Okay, so you have the full spectrum heaters. In that model, we have 2 of them, and they give off a wide range of near, mid, and far. And they also have some visible red light. And
yes, they do.
Everything works to heal different parts or different structures, or it's doing something different. And then we have the red light tower that says 650 nanometers and 850 nanometers. Those are very special LEDs, and we can get into that a little later if you'd like.
Yes, we can, because I am in love with that piece of machine. The whole thing,
It's
it has
great.
been a blessing in disguise. And I mean, we got this sauna for about 2 months now, and we already are experiencing so many benefits.
What are you
And
seeing? What do you see? What's different now?
my husband only dropped 25 pounds of visceral
only.
fat. Only. He is
That's all.
looking like a muchacho. So if you know what it means,
Yeah.
like a younger man. Is excited. He love it. And now he also was doing a little bit of calorie restriction to help it out.
Good.
We were listening some of this podcast, and actually with Dr. Andrew Huberman from Stanford. He is a doctor in neurobiology, and he had a very interesting podcast. And in one of those, he was talking a lot about the saunas and the benefits for many, many things. We cannot get into that. But one of those, he was saying, okay, through the heat, you mobilize all of that fat, but you need a mechanism to eliminate it. Because, if you mobilize that, you cannot be sweating a lot of water. It's fine. But you need another complementary protocol to help to eliminate that fat. So we included the calorie restriction and actually the intermittent fasting. So we are eating for 4 hours, fasting for 20.
Great.
2 months. And he is a dramatic change and a very good one. And he feels great, energetic. He loves to work out. So that's one of the things. Another thing, for example, he was waking up at night, and that was something common. Actually, I bought him some headsets, so he kindly put his headset so I don't have to hear when he was up. That's not happening anymore. He goes and sleep. We go at night on the sauna, so after we take a shower, he goes to sleep.
Sleep
perfectly
like a baby.
fine.
Yeah.
The muscle relaxing and soreness from the workouts, that's disappeared. He's sleeping very good. He's growing more hair. Oh my God. That is actually that we notice is such a good thing. Skin is looking great. I think that detoxification is actually very evident. I mean, we can see that. So those are some of the ones we have seen, but I would like for you to tell us what are like the most remarkable benefits from the frequent use of a infrared sauna.
So you covered a lot of them. And the first thing that people tell us, and I get to sit there and hear from all these people, and they say, Doc, look, this is what happens. And the first thing a lot of people will say, first thing they notice, they say, I'm sleeping better. Okay. And sleep is so important.
Oh my God.
Then people say, my skin is softer, And so that's another benefit. And then the things you don't see, but you will feel, all right, is like I said, the pain will go away and your range of motion will increase. All right. So tight muscles will start to relax. You'll feel better. One of the other things you don't see necessarily, you may not even feel, is you're boosting the immune system. Okay. So when you're in the sauna, you're boosting the immune system. And because we're raising the core body temperature just a little. And so we're creating a false fever, and that will get all your, elicit your white blood cells.
This is very interesting. I didn't think about that, and it makes so much sense. Wow.
Yes.
So the body will identify that heat as a fever and will
and that's why
more of our white cells. Wow.
Yeah, that's why we have create a fever. And I think it was Hippocrates said, give me a fever and I can heal any disease. So then the body just naturally will create more white blood cells and boost the immune system. Then, of course, the detoxification is so important, because did you know that we have over 80,000 different chemicals that are in our environment that our great-grandparents did not. Now think of that. You can't even do a test with more than 1 or 2 chemicals in the body. So there's a great researcher, scientist, Dr. Stephen Genuis out of Canada, and he's done a lot of what is called BUS studies. That's blood, urine, and sweat. And he measures and puts people in saunas and measures all those things, measures the blood, the urine, the sweat, and shows how the heavy metals, the different chemicals are coming out of the body with the sweating. So,
wow,
and then
heavy metals, and that is so difficult to detox from the organs too, because how you take them out? They are so deep into your body, and yet you're sweating it on the sauna. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, it's very important. Then the cardio we talked about, this passive cardio. And there's been a lot of studies that show people that are doing a workout. If you use a sauna before the workout, it will help to prevent an injury. If you use a sauna after the workout, and it will also help to build muscle mass. And of course, use it afterwards. It will help the body to relax down and to take out the lactic acid, things like that. And then one of the biggest things I haven't even mentioned is de-stress. So, we have the sympathetic and the parasympathetic modes of the central nervous system, the CNS, and we're going to put you with that vasodilation. That's going to put you in parasympathetic, and that's the not stress place, the rest and digest. So all you get, and the great thing, Claudia, you just go in. You don't have to do anything. You just sit in your sauna.
Sit down.
Yeah, you want to read your book. You want to listen. I listen to a little music. Sometimes I'll listen to
and this is so
podcast.
nice because now you kindly give us a little window when we can put the phone.
That's right.
The phone is a totally isolated place where it doesn't get hot. So you can put your music.
Yeah, listen on Bluetooth.
The music with this amazing sound system that you put there, and then you relax there. It's just wonderful.
Well, I've been working on it for a long time, and a lot of companies, not just sauna companies, they'll look at it and they'll say, well, if we could take, if we change this, we could take a quarter out of the cost of that. And we're selling so many, put that quarter in our pocket. That's a lot of money. And so when I look in a sauna, I go, what else can I do to help to heal you? While you're sitting there, what else can I do? So that's how we came up with the red light. We have the chromotherapy. We have an aromatherapy unit coming out. We have the halotherapy unit. Have you gotten a halotherapy unit
No.
yet?
Well, tell us about that.
So halotherapy is salt therapy that's been very popular in Europe for many, many years. And it started really in the 1800s. A doctor that was the doctor for the salt mines. The guys in the salt mines noticed they didn't have skin problems. They didn't have respiratory problems like his patients in the town. And so he really documented this, and came to be found out that it's the salt in the salt caves. Then people were going into the salt caves during Second World War and First World War to hide out, and they noticed this big change. So this has been going on for a long time in Europe, but the salt has to be in very fine, very small amounts so it can go into the lungs and heal. And how does it heal? Well, when I was a boy, my dad would have us gargle with the hottest salt water that we could stand if we had a sore throat, right? Because
I remember that. I had to go through something like that. I mean, I grew up in Colombia, South America. We do a lot of at-home remedies. That was one, and it worked perfect. Yeah,
it works great. So why does that work? It's because salt is antiviral and antibacterial, okay? So you're killing off the virus or the bacteria. So if you go in, breathe it deep into the lungs, into the tiny alveoli, and I'm talking micron, minuscule salt. Then the other thing that salt is, it's hydrophilic. That means that it draws water to it. So a lot of lung problems has to do with congestion and phlegm in the lungs. So when you get the salt in there, you draw water to that region, and then the mucus becomes more liquefied and can be coughed out. So it's been used. And so we've designed our own unit. We're very proud of it. It's called the Halo 1. and it is rechargeable. It's beautiful. We've won several European design awards, and we use a very fine vibrating mesh, and we have patents on the whole thing, and little capsules that we send with the unit, a very purified liquid water capsules. It has a salt in it, and this comes out in this fine mist, and then in the air, it actually dries. The water goes off, and then you have that just very fine salt crystal that comes into the lungs. I have mine in my healing room. I use it every day.
Wow.
Makes a big difference.
Makes a totally different experience.
I will send you one. Okay. I want you to experience it.
Thank you. I'll let you know.
All right.
So
you're my tester.
Something. Perfect. I mean, let me ask you something, Dr. Duncan, because out there, people may be listening us and this conversation, they may be asking themselves, okay, so how do we know from a good, infrared sauna to another? Are so many options on the market. How do we know? And we want to put our box where we're going to have a real good one.
Yeah. So here's what I would say is, number one, look at the company, see how long they've been in business, and see if what they're saying makes sense. I like that. Just, does it make sense? You look on their website, see what they're about, and then look at the sauna itself. Look at the warranty. How long is it warranted for? We give a lifetime warranty on our sauna. We've been doing that. I think we're coming up on 20 years. And when you give a lifetime warranty, really, really informs you how to build something.
It matters. Oh,
it matters.
It's not brand XYZ from who knows where, China.
No. And then look at the sauna itself. So the thing I told you about is you really want the wavelength coming in from all directions. And I alluded to it a little, that vibration. So I've designed my heater to create this vibration, this resonant frequency to help to detox the body. So I want to put the heaters all around you. If you see a sauna and the heaters are going above the head, you got to ask yourself why. It's the heaters aren't really heating the air. They're just there for the body. So when I see that, it shows me that the people, they don't really understand how infrared works. And then ask and find out. Don't just ask, but find out, is there EMF coming off? So you mentioned the GeoVital, that we studied EMF. That was one of the first things, and we have a lot of patents on that, is how to have EMF is electromagnetic field, which the World Health Organization says, don't expose yourself to more than 1 milligauss. And so we were the first ones to come up with a low EMF heater. And then we have a low EF heater, which is electrical field. And we've pioneered the industry. And this has been going on for a long, long time. This was over a decade and a half ago when we did this. You don't want to sit in a sauna, especially if you're sick, with EMF coming out. So that's very important.
Because then you're going to get the pollution out of it.
Yeah.
And you don't want that. Absolutely.
No. So those are the main things. Look at the quality of the craftsmanship and all that. But anyway.
What about the temperature? When you get there, what are the optimal temperatures to set up your infrared sauna to get good benefits, and for how long?
So again, because we're so enculturated that a sauna is a hot place. Now, my sauna gets very hot, but it's really not that heat that's doing the work. It's that wavelength.
This is the wavelength.
Yeah. So if people start talking about, this infrared sauna gets so hot, it tells me again, maybe they don't really understand how it works. So when I get in my sauna, mine today, I think got up to about 135 degrees. Now I can get my sauna much higher than that, but it's really not necessary.
I have it at 137.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so a normal, like a box of hot rock sauna, the Finnish type sauna, which are great. I'm not against those at all. They'll get up to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, 220 degrees. Can you imagine if it was that hot in your infrared sauna? I mean, I perspire. I just walk by a sauna
profusely.
Yeah. So I would say 5 minutes in at that temperature in my sauna, I'm starting to glisten, And I take one. I try to
Okay.
take my sauna every day.
Me too. And we do. We do it at every night. And when we don't do it, we miss it, And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not like the same. So let's talk a little bit about longevity and the reduction of cardiovascular diseases.
Yes.
I went to read a paper. And actually, I was amazed by this study. This is one of the 37 papers that I found in your website.
Yes.
It is a lot of literature there, but this one, it just blows my mind. It's 20 years of study conducted by researchers from the University of Eastern Finland.
Yes.
They measured a large amount of the population over 20 years. I mean, we're talking about a big study, 20 years.
Yeah, and 2,300 people.
2,300 people.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, because I mean, I read it and my eyes were getting like this big to see what they found.
Yeah. Well, this was another time I cried when I read this research because it verified everything I'd been seeing for the past 20 plus years. So the study, a lot of studies, maybe they'll have 10 people in it. Maybe it'll be a few months, long studies a year.
Yeah.
This was 2,300 people over 20 years. And what they were looking for, what the question was how many times you take a sauna in a week, how does that change your outcome for your health? And what they found was that the instances of cardiovascular disease for people that took the sauna, I think it was the five times a week, it was down like 43% or something. I can't remember exactly. And versus the people that just did it once a week, it was like 23%, somewhere in there. So the more you take your sauna in a week's time, your risk of sudden cardiac death and cardiovascular disease drops dramatically. But then it went on to say that they also studied for all-cause mortality.
All death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's cancer, that's stroke, that's anything that's going to kill you that's not being hit by a bus. All right. And that was a huge number. I think it's 43%. My mind is still pretty active, and those numbers just still excite me,
How you're not going to forget about it? It's just like, wait a minute. So you're telling me that by me, you going to a sauna, I mean, 3 to 5 times a week, I gonna be in the group of, living longer 30%. Or basically preventing cardiovascular disease by 30%, more than anybody, more than if I don't do anything. But then if I go 5 times a week, 7 times a week, every day, then you are in the over 45%, 50% reduction of risk of any cardiovascular disease, plus all cause mortality. It's just like incredible.
When you think about all the things we're doing, that passive aerobic conditioning, the detoxification, stress is a major killer. All you have to do is get in the sauna. Get in one of our saunas and you're going to go into that de-stress place. We all need to, everybody's so stressed out. We're doing this all the time. Our culture, we're a culture of stress. So we need that quiet time.
We need a pause. Yes,
we need a pause every day.
News make you worry. You just watch all the news and you're like, oh Lord. Everything is just making you worry. But something else I read also on those papers, and as I said, I counted more than 37 studies only on the cardiovascular benefits for using the saunas. And I'm gonna mention some that they sound pretty serious. They say the frequent use of saunas and the impact on cardiovascular conditions such as chronic heart failure, peripheral arterial disease, ventricular arrhythmias, infants with severe congestive heart failure, vascular endothelial and cardiac function, and the list go on and on and on.
Yes.
Just by that, using the sauna is a great thing.
it's to me, it just validates, like I said, everything that 25 years ago, it seemed like this was great. I felt better. I was more relaxed. The people I put in the sauna, but I had no idea. And you see all the research on our website. I've just been collecting research for 20 years.
It's pretty interesting. I was reading also about inflammation. I mean, how many health conditions are so severe, and the root cause is inflammation in the body.
Yeah. And inflammation is a big killer. It is. And getting in the sauna is going to help. And a lot of what it does is it lowers that oxidation, and it's not rusting. We're not rusting, but you mentioned endothelial. So the endothelial cells are the linings of all our blood vessels and inside our heart. And when there's a lot of inflammation, the endothelial cells that's an indicator. That's what they use as an indicator that the endothelial cells are dying at a faster rate than they should be. And it's almost like a burning inside the body. So inflammation is one of those silent killers, and using the sauna will reduce that amount of oxidative stress, they call it.
Fibromyalgia and arthritis, the reduction on the conditions such as fibromyalgia and arthritis. I mean, we know that fibromyalgia is one of those conditions. You can tell me more, but it requires heavily medication. Medications that in many cases have secondary effects on somebody's body's condition. I mean,
Can I tell you a story?
Yes, please do.
So when I was young in the company was not even a year old. I was approached at a home and garden show. Well, I don't even think we were on the internet yet, by Connie, or not by Connie, but by Ray B. I won't use his last name. It was Connie and Ray, and they lived in Fremont. And Connie had horrible fibromyalgia, and she had been in publishing business or worked for a publisher and was very active. And fibromyalgia got so bad, I found out later, she said that it felt like every hair on her head hurt. And she had trouble sleeping. She had trouble walking. She used to walk in the hills behind their house and couldn't. And Ray loved his wife so much. And he said, I think this sauna could help Connie. And I didn't know enough whether it would. Fibromyalgia wasn't even known that much about, back then. And so what I did, I never wanted to trade on someone's misfortune. So I said, Ray, I don't know, but here's what I want to do. I'm going to bring a sauna over to your house. We delivered it and set it up. And I said, keep it for 6 weeks, a couple months. And if it works out, and you want it, you can buy it. And if not, I'll take it back and you don't owe me a cent. So it wasn't 3 weeks in, Ray called and he said, she is doing so much better. She's feeling better, sleeping better. She started to walk a little. And over that 2-month period, she would start walking in the hills again. She was able to start working again. The pain was down. It just changed her whole life. And that right in that point, I said, wow, there's really something here. It just encouraged me, even though I didn't have a research article. I didn't have any of that. It just, I was so impacted by his love for his wife and wanting to help her, and that I happened to have something that would help me. It really stuck with me, so.
This is the love for my audience. I really want them to know a lot about this. I was so excited when I knew you were coming to my program, because this is the way that us as people here in this earth can help others. I received the help from others. Women out there, they didn't know about me. They were in different places in the country, but they were going through some situations like mine, and they shared information that helped me to heal. And I'll never forget that. And here is what we're doing, giving back.
Yeah. It's so much fun. It's so much fun.
It's fulfilling. It's great. It's great to be breathing right now. Thank you very much.
Yeah, someday we won't be here. So let's love each other and do what we can to help out, and
That's
ask my wife.
definitely.
Sometimes I'm a real jerk. I'm not saying I'm not a saint. I'm just a guy, but I know that when I try to help and I just didn't want to, Claudia, I just didn't want to die and be sitting there on my deathbed and going, wow, I should have helped out more. Why didn't I
No,
help out more? Why
no,
was I
no,
just
no.
concerned with having a big car and a nice house, So,
This is something that just spreading the word, just having these conversations. Somebody may be driving their car. They may be
mm,
feeling amazing about themselves, but they have somebody in their families that they may be suffering from one of these conditions, and they may have a click like, wait a second, we can do this. Why not? It's easy. Let's get, one of these infrared saunas and get my mother, my father, myself, one and start healing with the heat. So some other things that I was reading here as well of
mhm.
the benefits of the use of the sauna are the skin conditions, the psoriasis, um,
Yes.
eczema, some other conditions from the skin that can be cleared with the sauna. Is that right?
Mhm. Yes. So with skin conditions, this is what we see, and we've developed. There has been some research, but even before that, we were developing hypotheses of how it's working because we knew it was working. And so this, my feeling on it, and what I've compiled is that number one, with flare-ups, and people have told me that a lot of times eczema or different skin conditions will flare up under stress. Okay.
Hmm.
So we're going to de-stress you. Let's just start to get you to feeling better and
Mm-hmm.
not so stressed out. Okay. Number one. Number two, that boosting the immune system is going to help. If you have a flare up, if your immune system will come to the aid of you. And then any skin condition with that vasodilation I talked about. So we're increasing blood flow, to the area, to the skin. And, we've had many people say that after an infrared sauna session, the areas of eczema or whatever feel better, so that's a good sign. So if people want to try it, there's now many sauna centers everywhere. Perspire is one. There's other ones. And that's just like the old kind of suntan model, going to a suntan booth, but they'll have 8 to 10 infrared saunas, and you can go in and try. So
Mm-hmm.
go and try one out. It's not that much, and see how you feel. Not
That's great. I
everybody
mean,
reacts the same, but
no,
yeah.
but today commercially you will, and that's how I find out at the Clearlight Saunas.
Oh, is that
I
right?
yes, I for we went on vacation to Europe in summertime, and my husband got very allergic to people smoking, and he
Mm.
got very sick. He came
Ugh.
back sick, sick, sick. So I went to the Whole Foods to buy some groceries, and on the way back, I saw a place that it was newly open, and they
Mm.
were advertising the infrared saunas. And
Yeah.
then it was Father's Day coming, and I said, why not? And I stopped by and I bought it like a gift card with 5 sessions for the infrared sauna. So I came and I say, Bruce, it is Father's Day present, and I think this is gonna be good for you.
Oh,
He went there, and I swear, by the second session, he was another individual. He
wow.
could breathe. He slept well that night. He said, this thing is terrific. I'm going
Mm.
tomorrow. I gotta talk to the owner. I need to know what is this machine. I need one.
That's great. That's a great story.
But
I love that.
yes, because it was, and he was super
Mm.
kind. He actually gave us the entire explanation of how it worked
Mhm.
and the whole benefits, blah, 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 and gave us the name of the salesperson. Finally, we bought it. Here it is in my
Mm.
garage next to my gym. I have a gym at home. So, and that was a game changer. I mean,
That's great.
for the healing. I mean, he was 5 days out. Perfectly
Wow.
fine. He didn't have to take antibiotics, anything. It was just
Wow.
clear
That's
and
powerful.
sound. Yes, that was very good.
Mm.
Some other conditions here that I see in prevention of the Alzheimer's disease and
Yeah.
improvement in people that had Parkinson and dementia.
Mhm. Yeah, we're working with a couple of universities, UCSF and New York University, on different projects of mental health and specifically Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. And there are different links with how the sauna works, and it creates what's called a BDNF, and that's brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And there seems to be relations between the heat of the body, if we can heat up the body during the day. So there's a lot of studies going on. It's too early to make any conclusions, but expect some research studies out in the next year or so on all this. And
it's promising. It's promising.
Yeah,
and I was actually listening. Yeah. Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is very popular, and he had a frequent guest. Is Dr. Rhonda Patrick.
Oh, I love Rhonda.
I love her. I mean, for my listeners,
so
if you're not listening Joe Rogan, go and listen his podcast and follow Dr. Rhonda Patrick. She's terrific. She had a very nice presence in social media, and she talks about the sauna over and over and over.
Yeah, become a sponsor of Rhonda Patrick. It's money well spent. You know, a couple bucks, 15. It's
amazing. It's amazing.
She's great.
She's
so
great.
Smart.
She's very knowledgeable. She's smart, and she is very factual. I love because when she speaks and she can tell you the research from such and such a study. She goes deep into it in a way that we can understand, because some of this knowledge is very technical. And in some of the podcasts that I listen, I finish a little bit overwhelmed, but I go through because I love it. But I know that for, more like people don't have time to go deep into it. It may be a little dense. So it's good that we have these conversations, making it easier. But Dr. Rhonda Patrick said the other day in Joe Rogan's, and again, she has been there for more than 10 times sitting at Joe Rogan's podcast. And she said that in those opportunities where she has to talk to a big crowd, she has to talk about her studies, her very specific research. And she needs to be laser focused on the data and ready for questions and be focused, laser focused. She goes into her sauna that day before the lecture. She said she goes there and she swears that it gives her clarity, mental clarity, focus and attention. She feels a lot more energized, in a much better mental clarity to just deliver her speeches and talk in public. So that was something interesting she said.
It is interesting. In my next life, I want to come back as smart as Rhonda Patrick. She's my hero. Yeah, she's great. Yeah, but it makes sense. It makes sense because we're boosting the metabolism in the body. We're getting all this blood to flow around. We're making everything work better. All the different hormones that we naturally produce, all the different chemicals to make ourselves feel good and function well are all right.
Boosted.
There's a higher level. Yeah.
That's absolutely. So something also that I read, it was that the Clearlight Sauna, one of your early devices, was used on a clinical trial by the State University of New York, SUNY.
Yes, SUNY out there in Binghamton.
Weight loss.
Yes.
What were the findings there?
It was really interesting. So we worked with them, and they did two different studies. The first study was 16 weeks, and people went and used the sauna, our sauna, 3 times a week for about 45 minutes. And that was for, like I said, 16 weeks. And what they found, and they were looking for body fat. So they asked people, don't change what you're eating, don't exercise anymore, just come and get in the sauna. So over the period of time of that study, the 16 weeks, they had up to a 4% drop in body fat. But they found that the people that came in late in the day or the evening lost more body fat. And they went, So they did a
Why?
phase 2 study with people coming in 5 times a week
Interesting.
for 30 minutes. And after that, they came up with twice the rate. They came in at the later time of day, later afternoon, and they came up with twice the loss of body fat. So they went, what's going on? So the hypothesis, you would need more research, is that when you go in the sauna, it's great that you're using it in the later part of the day.
Yeah.
We produce human growth hormone when you get into the sauna. All right. Human growth hormone is one of those things that helps to mediate weight gain. Okay. So
Wow.
that's
Yes.
a little bit of information from, cool, huh?
That is thrilling. I gonna have to tell Bruce. He's gonna be happy. Like, he's gonna go twice a day now.
We were like
It's
shocked,
amazing.
when we found out that there was something we just didn't know,
I mean, and it's naturally, are so many advertisements out there about
Oh my gosh.
human growth hormone. And those are artificial. They're not from your own body.
Yeah.
So imagine that, yes, they advertise those for growing muscle, but as they grow muscle, they grow other things artificially too. You may be growing cells that are unwanted in your body, such as cancers. So I am very reluctant when I see those kind of advertisement and make them so available to people. But if you can boost your human growth hormone by getting to the sauna later in the day, that is excellent. It's amazing.
And it's like anything. If I can produce something in my body instead of taking a pill, I'm all over that. Even vitamins, I'd rather get it out of whole organic, leafy green vegetables than taking a pill any day.
Any day. And unfortunately, this is not as easy today because we don't have control over what we eat from the vegetables. We don't know the soils, They're getting too depleted. I have a guest the other day, and actually the place is Dr. Cowan's Garden. They produce.
I looked at that. Yeah, I played that. That was really interesting.
And they do these powders from vegetables and superfoods just to help the people to get more nutrient-dense meal. You can just sprinkle it over your food, make the pancakes for your kids with the powders, and there you have a very nutritious meal for you and your family. So I think this is a great alternative. I mean, we have to find ways to supplement.
We have to find ways
we're not getting
to thrive.
Our food as it was for our ancestors, that it was so nutritious,
No.
That's one of those things. So let's talk about something that I see that is getting like hand in hand with the Clearlight infrared saunas, and is the LED red light therapies.
Right.
So what is the difference between those and the infrared?
In the red light, we have 2 different high-powered LEDs that one is putting out 650 nanometers and the other is putting out 850 nanometers. So one is red and the other is near. And this has been so popular recently, mostly because there was a big study that came out and talked about red light therapy. And this is used by many chiropractors and physical therapists and doctors, the red light therapy. And what it does a thing called photobiomodulation. Big word. But basically what it means is that taking that light in, the near and the red light, goes right into the cell, right into the mitochondria of the cell, and puts ATP, energy in the form of ATP. So that means that a cell that would normally die in a certain period of time will keep it going by putting energy, just in the same way as we can synthesize vitamin D. In fact, we do synthesize vitamin D in our body by getting sunlight, and there's a certain wavelength of UVB couple within a certain range that creates this within our body. Our body makes that. So our body is making ATP from the stimulation of this red light therapy. So that is the definition of longevity. That is an age-defined thing. If you can just stand in front of a light, and it's going to make every cell that it comes into, and it goes deep.
It penetrates deep into the organs.
Yeah, last longer and not die. Because as we grow older, our cells die at a more rapid rate than, let's say, a young child, right? They seem to, so this is just such a surprising and wonderful addition. So what we've done, again, my idea has always been, once I've got you in the sauna, what else can I do to help you heal? So like on yours, we have holding place in the door, 2 holes that normally, if you don't have anything mounted to it, have 2 pieces of little metal caps that are on there. And there's an outlet in the floor. And we can either put an extra full spectrum heater on there, or the red light will mount right there. And so while you're sitting in there, detoxing and doing all the other things we just talked about, you can be getting this red light therapy into your cells. And I'll tell you, one of the things we talked about human growth hormone, but one of the big things for men, especially men in my age, is our testosterone levels start to go down. And guess what boosts that? The red
light therapy.
The red light therapy. You have to kind of shine it
so
on your middle
you
section.
mention it right now, because I was watching a program the other day, and I get chills, because they reveal that the levels of testosterone as well as fertility in men in the US is about 50% less than it was in the 70s. 50% less than it was in the 70s.
Wow.
And they were talking about a very popular protocol that now is called the tanning of the testicles, basically to boost the testosterone levels. Now that you mentioned that, you just validated what I was reading. I mean, this is phenomenal, and it's a way that we can actually, help our young men and young men in all ages to boost the testosterone.
Yeah, and it's testosterone naturally in the body is critical to so many things. Yeah.
I mean, not only for longevity, for reproduction too. I mean, if our men are not able to reproduce, I mean, the normal growth of the nation is gonna be in jeopardy. And actually, I was reading the cause of that reduction on the testosterone and infertility is because of the pollutants. We are too exposed to chemicals on the food, plastics, and containers. Men specifically are very susceptible at these particles of plastic and soy that get bond into the testosterone and reduce the size of the genitals. I mean, this goes on, and having a protocol that can help to prevent it or mitigate the effect is great.
So there's a group, Environmental Working Group, EWG. I don't know if they came out, they do a lot of studies and research, EWG, and they were the ones that came out and said that new baby in the umbilical cord, they found over 65, or it might have been higher. It's been a while since I read that. Might have been in the 80, 85 chemicals, toxins.
Already.
So you're born already with toxins that aren't supposed to be there. And some of them will mimic diseases and do all kinds of things and run our bodies haywire. So you got to get that stuff out of your system. So
absolutely. Even the baby formula has so many pollutants and sugars and fillers that are unwanted heavy metals. Who knew?
Yeah.
I mean,
who knew? And now you got to do something about it, because I want to live a long life. I want to live
and a happy life.
And a happy
life. This is what we are at Express Soul Health and Wellness Podcast. How to live a longer, happier life. And this is what we're learning here.
That's our birthright.
That is about. So, okay, we have these LED devices,
Yes.
And this is so good that we can use them now. I mean, I can see them even for cosmetic uses. You see
Oh,
them
yeah.
everywhere. They are putting
Yeah.
them in brushes, in masks for the face. Actually, they are now advertising on TV socks and
Yeah.
pieces that you can
But
put around your waist.
yeah, but let me tell you what we do with ours, just that sets us apart. So all the other towers that you see,
Yes.
the lenses, we call it a lens. So we have one lens is on the LED and the other lens is actually the curved part that takes that light or the near infrared and then shoots it out. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And all those on every other product come out of the marijuana industry, grow bulbs. So they use these to grow marijuana. They're all the same and they're made to come onto a plant, but we're not plants. We're not shaped like plants. We're round, we're curved. And so what we design, we have patents on this. And if you look at ours, if you look closely before you turn it on, they're variable.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right. Those lenses we call it just a variable lens. And this is different so that it's going to come in different indices, different angles to penetrate deeper into the body. All right. Because what are we trying to do? We're trying to heal the body. So
I was looking at it the other day. I believe that tower that I have has 38 bulbs in the 650 nms and then another 38 in the 850.
Yeah, that
That's
sounds
correct.
about right.
Yes. So
plus we designed it to be in the sauna.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you're sitting in the comfort of the sauna and then you're receiving the red light. And actually, I was listening one of the podcasts on Dr. Andrew Huberman, and he also, he's a doctor on neurobiology and also in ophthalmology. So he knows a lot about the eyes, the science behind the eyes. And he was talking about Dr. Glenn Jeffrey at the University College of London. The research that Dr. Jeffrey has conducted on LED red light therapy on the healing on the eyes is incredible.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
It goes back to that same thing I just talked about, the photobiomodulation. So how do you heal the eyes? So if you're coming in and you're basically regenerating cells, you're taking cells that are not healthy and you're bringing them back from the dead, not, maybe they're almost dead. So that's called
like repowering them.
Yes. You're increasing the power, you're increasing the function, and you're removing the problems that they're having. And this vasodilation also happens that I was talking about. So in that vasodilation, you get the increased flow of oxygenated blood into any area. And so the eyes are no different, and taking out the waste materials. So that's
beautiful.
The key.
Beautiful. Yeah. The protocol that actually he recommended, Dr. Glenn Jeffrey and actually Andrew Huberman, is that you sit down first time in the morning. Like first time in the morning, you turn on your red light into the eyes, close to the eyes, and look at it for 3 minutes. That's it.
Yep.
3 minutes, turn it off, you're good. The constant use of that, like the frequency every day, it shows that it can reduce the degeneration on the eyes. Basically, for people over 40, it will improve the sight, which is amazing. I mean, I am 50, almost 2, and one of the things that I am sad about is my eyes. I mean, I used to have 20/20 not too long ago. Now it's 0/0.
Yeah, we're all in the grip of entropy. Yeah. We're all in the grip of entropy. So we just came out with a small red light that has a little stand that will sit on a desk. So
it will be easier for that kind of therapy instead of the body. Oh, that's
the big one it's a huge, huge thing. Well, I'll be this January, not too long. I guess in a month I'll be 69. So.
Wow. Happy birthday in advance, Dr. Duncan.
Yeah, thank you then. I still feel 18 inside.
You feel great and vital. That's because all of these technologies that you're sharing with the world are making you so healthy. That is very good. So if you have to share your wisdom Dr. Duncan, if you can say, okay, this is my message to you for health and wellness and longevity, what it would be for our audience?
Yeah. So I think everybody knows about eating right and exercising. I love to walk. And then, I believe in saunas. And if you don't have room to get a sauna, find a friend that has a sauna. Or go to one of
the
these
gym.
saunas. Yeah. And
They
then,
got sauna.
but as I get older, I'm finding out so much importance of just family, friends. They say if you have 4 friends that you meet with and that you will live a much healthier and happier life. And I don't know. The longer I live, the more I find friends everywhere. Whether it's the cashier or something. We all have so much in common. We're all people, and we're all that we want is just to live and love. So that's my prescription for myself.
Love more.
Love more. Yeah. Love yourself. You're all beautiful. We are all beautiful.
It's awesome. And I thank you very much for so much wisdom you shared with us today. And especially for your years of work into these technologies that are bringing so much healing to the world. And by me having you here in this conversation, not only a pleasure, also a service to humanity, because so many people are going to find out of the incredible, wonderful benefits of the frequent use of an infrared sauna. So Dr. Duncan, promise me that you're going to come back.
Anytime.
Next time, we're going to talk about a topic of your preference, hopefully some upcoming new stuff that you have in the works for us.
We got a lot in the works, so stay tuned.
I figure. So
yeah.
I need to have you back here. But for now, I want to thank you very much in the name of the millions of people that are going to be listening. And if they want to know more about your work, I'm going to include all of the links to your website below so they can learn more about the technology behind the Clearlight Saunas and how they can, get access to them and start feeling the great benefits.
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. I did enjoy it too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for listening. And if you like the information that we shared with you today, please subscribe to the Express Soul Health and Wellness podcast and follow us in the social media outlets of your choice. Until next time, please remember, health is wealth for the body, mind, and soul.